Before she became one of the most decorated artists in Grammy history, before Coachella transformed into Beychella, before she reshaped what it means to be a global performer, Beyoncé Giselle Knowles was a child from Houston who refused to blend in. Her rise was not accidental. It developed through intense discipline, determination, heartbreak, and reinvention, and a level of ambition that even some close to her found unsettling. In the next minutes, you will learn how a shy girl from Texas became a blueprint for the modern music icon. You will hear the story of her father's relentless management, the lineups and fractures that nearly ended Destiny's Child, the creative choices that sparked revolutions in pop marketing, and the private struggles she navigated at the very peak of fame. Subscribe and stay until the end for a fact that will change how you hear Beyoncé forever. Beyoncé Giselle Knowles was born on September 4, 1981, in Houston, Texas, a city shaped by rich Black musical traditions, church choirs, and a competitive local scene that nurtured performance from an early age. She grew up in a working-class household. Her father, Matthew Knowles, worked in sales and later dedicated himself to managing her early career. Her mother, Tina Knowles, ran a hair salon that doubled as a community hub. According to contemporaneous reporting and later interviews with family, Tina's salon often became Beyoncé's first stage. She would sing for clients, practicing presence long before she expected to become famous. Beyoncé's musical promise appeared early. By age 7, she stunned teachers with an unusually mature vocal control and a range that set her apart from her peers. She entered local talent shows and competitions. One notable moment came when she performed John Lennon's Imagine and won a school contest, a small public triumph that reinforced her parents' belief in serious potential. By the early 1990s, Matthew Knowles had organized a structured program around his daughter's development. Voice coaching, dance lessons, stagecraft, and competitive auditions. He made a pivotal decision in 1992, stepping away from a corporate career to manage a group of girls that included Beyoncé, Kelly Rowland, and Latavia Roberson. That choice strained family finances and tested the household, but Matthew felt it was the right investment in his daughter's future. The group, initially known as Girls' Time, auditioned on the national talent show Star Search. They did not win. As Beyoncé later reflected in interviews, the experience taught her that talent and hard work do not always translate directly into immediate success, an early lesson in resilience. Through lineup changes and years of local shows, Girls' Time evolved into Destiny's Child, a name inspired by a biblical passage and chosen by Tina Knowles. The group signed a recording deal, their early major label period centered around Columbia Records, and released their self-titled debut in 1998. By 1999, singles such as Bills, 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 and Say My Name had propelled the group into mainstream success. Yet success brought strain. Internal resentment about management and creative direction led to the departure of original members Latavia Roberson and LaToya Luckett in 2000. They were replaced by Michelle Williams and Farrah Franklin. Farrah's tenure was brief, and by the early 2000s, Beyoncé, Kelly, and Michelle formed the trio that would define the act's mainstream era. Contemporary press described the personnel changes in blunt terms. Rolling Stone called that reshuffle a cold and decisive management move, and the incident became an early example of the group's sometimes ruthless business reality. During this period, Beyoncé also confronted intense pressure and personal strain. In later interviews, she acknowledged episodes of severe stress and difficulty coping with sudden fame as a teenager and young adult. Rather than dramatize those years as a single breaking point, it is more accurate to describe them as a formative time of psychological pressure and growth. Performance expectations, public scrutiny, and the demand for near-perfect professionalism shaped her approach to work and to control. While Destiny's Child continued to enjoy massive success, Beyoncé's ambition and creative voice were growing beyond any group format. In 2003, she released her solo debut, Dangerously in Love. The album announced her as a solo star. Crazy in Love, featuring Jay-Z, became an instant cultural moment and won multiple Grammy Awards. The project demonstrated that Beyoncé could be both a commercial force and a creative leader, able to marry R&B traditions with pop spectacle. Beyoncé's professional and personal partnership with Jay-Z became one of the most scrutinized relationships in pop culture. They collaborated musically in ways that deepened both brands while keeping their private life closely guarded. In 2006, Beyoncé released Birthday, a record that leaned into harder beats and theatrical choreography. Outlets such as Reuters described her live performances and public persona during this era as precise and theatrical, a rigorously produced brand of spectacle. In 2008, Beyoncé introduced an element of deliberate performance identity with Sasha Fierce, her on-stage alter ego designed to channel confidence and sexual agency. Sasha Fierce produced enduring hits including Halo, If I Were a Boy, and the cultural phenomenon Single Ladies. The minimalist choreography for Single Ladies spread rapidly online and became a viral dance moment that would foreshadow the social media era of pop trends. Even as her star ascended, the groundwork was being laid for a different kind of artistry, one that would combine music, visual storytelling, and social consciousness. A pivot came in 2011, when Beyoncé and her team parted ways with Matthew Knowles. The split, public and emotional, marked a shift. She sought greater autonomy over creative and business decisions. At the same time, her personal life entered a new phase with the birth of her daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, in 2012. In 2013, Beyoncé quietly released a self-titled visual album without prior promotion. The surprise launch, an album accompanied by a set of music videos and visual narratives, upended industry norms and redefined how artists could present a cohesive audiovisual project directly to fans. Then came Lemonade, 2016, an album and film that combined personal narrative, political commentary, and African-American cultural references. The work confronted complex themes: Black womanhood, generational memory, faith, and, notably, strains in a high-profile marriage. Lines in Lemonade sparked broad public conversation and debate. The project functioned simultaneously as a personal statement and a cultural event. In 2018, Beyoncé made history as the first Black woman to headline Coachella. Her performance, later released as the Homecoming documentary on Netflix, paid explicit homage to historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs. Marching bands, step teams, and a staging designed around Black collegiate culture. Reporting and behind-the-scenes footage indicate months of planning and rigorous rehearsal. Homecoming itself documents a disciplined process of choreography, musical arrangement, and community engagement. That performance did more than headline a festival. It reframed what major pop spectacles could recognize and celebrate. In recent years, Beyoncé has pursued projects that emphasize cultural curation, collaboration, and preservation. In 2019, she contributed to The Lion King, The Gift, a soundtrack and companion album that foreground African artists and sensibilities. In 2022, she released Renaissance, an album that acknowledged and celebrated queer Black ballroom culture and the histories of dance music. Critics hailed it as an ambitious reimagining of mainstream dance pop and a tribute to communities too often marginalized. Beyond chart numbers and awards, Beyoncé is a public figure navigating multiple roles: artist, mother of three, business leader, and cultural curator. She speaks occasionally about the costs of perfectionism and the pressures inherent to fame, while continuing to expand the visual and narrative possibilities of the album format. Her influence is measurable across music and production approaches, the use of surprise releases and visual albums, performance standards for stadium spectacles, fashion and brand partnerships, philanthropic and cultural initiatives that spotlight marginalized communities. She did not merely follow trends. She often reframed them or created new ones. Beyoncé's career is a prolonged lesson in reinvention. It is a study of discipline, the translation of private struggle into public art, and the use of platform to elevate narratives beyond the personal. Her story prompts two central questions. How does an individual remain human while becoming larger than life? And what degree of sacrifice should society accept in exchange for cultural genius? Her work changed industry practices, particularly in how albums may be released, how visuals can accompany music, and how artists control the narrative around their careers. It altered expectations for live performance and expanded the kinds of signals a major pop artist can send about identity, history, and community. Subscribe and hit the bell. New music documentary every week. Watch the other documentaries on our channel for deeper dives into related artists and eras.